Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to the Minecraft Survival Guide. I hope you're all having a good day. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at a Minecraft fundamental, a very, very useful skill to know. We're going to be talking about cobblestone generators, and also stone generators, actually, because there are mechanics that involve combining water and lava that allow you to produce a renewable source of both stone and cobblestone. In fact, stone can also be mined using a non-silk touch pickaxe if you want to get cobblestone out of that as well, making them very, very useful things to know. We're going to cover a couple of designs, starting with a manual one and then upgrading it to something a little more automatic, and from there, we're going to explain exactly why we might need cobblestone and stone generators when those resources are naturally abundant in the world around us. So to begin with, we're just going to come to a nice open space here so I can demonstrate this, and we're going to dig a 4-block long trench like so, with another block dug out right here. On that side is where we're going to be placing a water bucket so that the water flows down into this hole. That's the most important part of the design, because we're going to place the lava bucket at the other end, and cobblestone will form right here where the flowing water meets the flow from the lava. We can dig out a block here, we can mine the cobblestone like so. Occasionally it might end up jumping into the lava, which means you occasionally lose a block here and there if you're not careful. This is the most basic design for a cobblestone generator, intended so you can just stand here and mine cobblestone idly, even holding down left click, although you have a chance of breaking the block behind if it isn't made out of something a little tougher. Now, the reason you want your water source to be flowing downwards and not flowing further over onto this block is that when the flowing water makes contact with the lava source, it turns the lava into obsidian, as we're pretty familiar with at this point in the series. So in creating a cobblestone generator, it's important to make sure that you have flowing lava making contact with flowing water. But that's not where the interactions between lava and water end. I'm going to dig out a 3x3 area and drop a water source straight in the center, like so. Then I'm going to pillar up to one side here so that we can drop lava on this water from above. We're going to be pretty careful when we do this, of course, since lava is a fairly destructive thing. I'm just going to dig out a hole here so I can place the lava on the underside of this block directly above the water source. And that, you will see, erases the water source by turning it into a block of natural stone. Not cobblestone this time, we actually have stone in here. And that means that our water source is gone and we'll need to grab another one. But that is stone we can mine with a silk touch pickaxe to save us the trouble of smelting it from cobblestone. Now, something I was expecting to happen there, but I didn't actually take into account how quickly the flowing water around would disperse compared to how fast the lava moves, is that lava, when dropped on water from above, can also convert flowing water blocks into natural stone as well, allowing you to preserve that water source while converting a bunch of the blocks around it into natural stone. And you'll notice that when we drop the lava bucket on it from above, the water does not convert the lava into obsidian, because the lava is technically flowing downwards in order to create those blocks, and the lava source block is not making contact with the water itself. But everything we just did was really for demonstration purposes. That's not exactly how you would set up a stone generator, especially if you wanted it to be effective. You don't want to have to place and collect the lava bucket every time you want to produce natural stone. Instead, we're going to place a water source right here so that flowing water can flow over into this block. We're then going to pillar up slightly so that we can set up a lava source in a glass box above that. Making these out of glass is absolutely not a requirement, by the way. I just thought it was a neat way of illustrating where the fluid source blocks are, and if you make these out of wood or some other kind of flammable material, then the lava is going to destroy them pretty quickly. So we can place a lava source block directly above that. That's going to convert the block below into natural stone, and we can mine that. But once again, given Minecraft blocks' tendency to jump upwards a little bit when you mine them, there is a chance that we can lose the stone blocks in lava. So we want to do something about that, and that is where we can apply some principles of automation. So I'm going to grab myself a couple of redstone components, and we're going to turn this into a semi-automatic stone farm. Okay, I have returned with a couple of things. We're going to place a wall right here next to where the water flow is, next to where the block is going to be converted into stone. Behind that, we're going to place an observer looking at the wall. We're going to place any kind of solid block that can conduct redstone power behind that. We're going to place a redstone dust on the block next to that, and finally, adjacent to that redstone dust facing towards where the water flow currently is, we're going to place a piston. Now when we place the lava source block in the top, whenever that flowing water gets converted into stone, it will connect to the wall. This changes the shape of the wall, which can be detected by the observer. The observer transmits a redstone signal to the piston briefly, which pushes the block out. This happens automatically over and over again until the piston reaches its natural push limit, at which point it's already broken some bamboo that I've been farming. We're going to come back and clear away all that stone, but naturally the system has now sort of locked itself up because that final block there has been converted. It can't be pushed by the piston until we update the system one more time, and we can break that block out, and the system will simply start producing stone again. And at this point, we can stand here with a Silk Touch pickaxe and break any stone that comes towards us. In fact, it's faster to break the stone than it is to produce the stone, considering we have an efficiency 5 netherite pickaxe. And this is why I referred to this as a semi-automatic farm, because some input from the player is still required in order to harvest all of this stone. If we wanted to, of course, we could take the automation one step further by placing a hopper below us here, have that output into a barrel, and then whenever the stone comes over the hopper, we just end up breaking it, simply dropping the stone into the barrel as soon as it is broken. The most effective way to do this would be to stand perpendicular so that we don't end up breaking the hopper like this, and we simply mine away at any stone that comes across our path, although of course it's not quite fast enough that we don't end up breaking a couple of blocks behind it. If we want some cobblestone out of this, we can switch to our fortune pick instead of the Silk Touch pick, and I do want some cobblestone out of this because we actually want to have a lever to make sure we can turn the system off. Simply by attaching a lever to this block, you'll be able to power the piston permanently, which will prevent the farm from locking up entirely, allow you to pause it for a second when you're done producing stone, and simply reactivate it by turning that lever off again. Now we have a bunch of stone in the chest that we harvested semi-automatically. And if you have a decent supply of TNT available to you, if you've gone out and mined a lot of sand and gunpowder to craft a bunch of TNT, you could arrange a system where a dispenser would drop TNT on this block of stone that you're creating at frequent intervals, and that could be collected by hoppers and deposited into a chest. We will get to designs like that in the future of the series because they are potentially a little bit more costly, especially if you're producing the TNT yourself. As you might expect, it's easy enough to set up an automatic system like this with a cobblestone generator, and you can even use the same components, since a wall underneath here, when a block is formed on top of it, will also update an observer. We simply need to place the observer facing in towards the wall, make sure this block behind it has a redstone dust on, and then any cobblestone that generates here in front of the piston is still going to cause the piston to fire, pushing the cobblestone forward and allowing more to generate. So now with water in one side flowing down into this gap and lava on the other side, we have an automatic cobblestone generator as well. Here is an important difference though. Cobblestone is actually slightly slower to break than regular stone is, and that won't make too much of a difference to you if you're already using efficiency enchanted diamond or netherite equipment. But if you're mining this with iron or even stone tools, which you might be depending on the circumstances, you might find that the stone is a little faster to break than the cobblestone and will still get you the same material. Once again, if we want to pause this, all we have to do is put a lever nearby that we can use to activate the piston, and that will isolate the system, allowing us to gather up more of these resources. So we've taken a look at these designs here, but now you might be wondering why on earth you need to generate stone or cobblestone at all. After all, the entire world is basically made out of stone. Even if you mine down in an unusual biome like a desert or a mangrove swamp where the surface is made of sand or mud, you're still going to find stone a few layers below that. So why on earth do we do this in the first place? Well, there are a few philosophies behind that really. The first of which is that any resource being renewable in Minecraft is a good thing, because while the world is virtually infinite as far as the player is concerned, it's 60 million blocks square, which is multiple times the surface area of the Earth actually. The stone that exists in the environment is still, technically speaking, a finite resource. Once you mine it, it is gone, and that's the same reason we're setting up stuff like an iron farm right now, instead of going mining for iron more frequently. Eventually, the resources around you are going to deplete, and you're going to end up needing to go further and further in order to acquire them. It's sort of the same philosophy behind me farming bamboo here at my base. Instead of going to the bamboo forest near the jungle biome that we have found, it's simply faster for me to do it here myself and allow the bamboo to regrow. It's also possible to make this process fully automatic. As I mentioned, we can get hold of some TNT and we can drop the TNT on the stone to blow it up, collect that using hoppers, and that will allow us to just walk away from a stone generator that is constantly producing stone for us in the background. And besides being building materials, stone and cobblestone are also very important crafting materials. We need them for more redstone components. The observer that I used in this circuit was actually constructed using cobblestone that I'd just gotten out of the cobblestone generator. So we can use that to our advantage when we need large quantities of stone or cobblestone for crafting. I know personally I end up building with them a lot, especially when we're still sticking with this rustic medieval kind of style, so it makes perfect sense to have a large supply of that for building, even for landscaping, since later on we'll probably be working on building things like our own custom biomes a long way down the line. In Season 1 of the Survival Guide, I built my own mountain range to use as a kind of ski resort build, and that required 200,000 stone, some of which I could go out and mine myself, but a lot of which was generated automatically using a cobblestone generator. A renewable supply of cobblestone is also the key to getting a bunch of the decorative stone types as well, because if you are unaware of this, this is actually something that kind of blows people's minds when we start talking about it. Cobblestone and quartz can be crafted together in a 2x2 in order to get yourself some blocks of diorite, one of the decorative stone types. From there, you can combine diorite and cobblestone to get andesite, or you can combine diorite and quartz to get granite. So the decorative stone types of diorite, andesite, and granite can all be made from cobblestone. Or if you really don't like blocks like diorite, which I know a lot of people find difficult to work with or just kind of ugly, you can combine it with cobblestone to make andesite, which I know a lot of people prefer building with, especially when you're building large things out of stone. But perhaps one of the most common uses of a cobblestone generator is in challenge maps, in Minecraft scenarios in which you can download a world where the parameters are slightly different from a vanilla world. And it's even possible to do that from within vanilla Minecraft itself without downloading anything. If we create a brand new Minecraft world, you'll notice that there are a couple of different options in the world type over here. We can change this to a superflat world, which typically I tend to use for testing builds and a few other things. But you'll notice that these worlds are set to still generate structures. So when we open up our world, which I'm just going to call Superflat Survival, we'll be able to spawn into a world where, for a start, there are a lot of slimes around, so we need to be a little careful of those. But if we want to go mining for resources in this world, for a start, there are no trees, so mining anything without a wooden pickaxe is going to be quite difficult. But not only that, the default Minecraft Superflat world only generates with 3 layers of dirt above bedrock. And if we look at the coordinates right now, we're actually at -61 in the world, which means we have the full height of the world we can work with, but that's why all the slimes are spawning, because technically we are really deep down in what would be the cave layers of a default Minecraft world. But despite these extreme conditions, thanks to the fact that villages exist in these worlds, thanks to the fact that structures have generated around here, it is possible to survive in a super flat world like this. And I'm not just talking about getting crops and managing your hunger and everything like that. I'm talking about genuine tool progression and survival. And it's all thanks to the materials that villages generate with, but also the mechanics that allow for renewable resources. I'm just going to grab a few blocks of cobblestone from this villager's house here so that I can make myself a cobblestone pickaxe, and we're going to see if we can track down a village blacksmith. It doesn't look like there is one in this village, so I might try the neighboring village. I'm going to have to dodge a lot of the slimes on the way. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like there was one in this village or the neighboring village, so we'll have to keep looking. It looks like this village here doesn't have one either, but I do need some food and a bed if we're going to be surviving this experience. Here we go! Incredible. We've managed to find a plains village that has a blacksmith, and you'll notice that in this little trough here, there are 2 blocks of lava sources. We'll check the chest in here to see if it has any iron, which it does. It even has iron pickaxe and some armor, which is going to be really useful to have. But with that, of course, we can craft ourselves a bucket or 2. In fact, I would stick with just 1 for now, since I'll be able to craft an axe, and the axe is also going to be kind of useful. But being able to move this lava source around, we can convert one of these village farms into a cobblestone generator. Let's grab a couple of the wood blocks from around here. We can kill any slimes that are just kind of hanging out around the area, and we'll block in a few of the water sources here. We'll create a divot right there so that the water can flow on into this hole, like so, and then we can set up a cobblestone generator right here. And that means in a world like this, where stone is not an abundant resource, and the only real source of stone would be these villager houses, which are very much a finite resource, we can still create our own stone. Waiting until nightfall potentially for some zombies to spawn, you're gonna get skeletons and zombies and all kinds of other stuff spawning at nighttime here. We could end up creating an iron golem farm using those interactions between villagers and zombies. And that would allow us to get a renewable source of iron here in this world as well. So then we'd have wood, stone, and iron, the fundamental early game crafting resources we need to make progress in the game. And that's where our Superflat adventure is going to end, because that really proves my point. It's possible to generate cobblestone in situations where it would be a vital resource but is not abundant in the world around you. And nowhere is that more true than the famous challenge map Skyblock, which I played a couple of times here on my channel in earlier versions of Minecraft. The challenge map is still available for download from Planet Minecraft. I think the Dr. Trog version is pretty fantastic. The purpose of Skyblock is to challenge you to create everything out of nothing by putting you on an island in the sky with just a tree so that you can harvest your first wood, and a couple of resources in a chest which will allow you to set up your first cobblestone generator. From there, you make your way through the technical progression, bridge out to a few other islands in the void, and discover just what you can make when the mechanics of renewability are what you have to rely on. So while you might not need a cobblestone or stone generator in your world right now, I think it's one of those fundamental things that it's really important to know about Minecraft, and it kind of leads you into the renewability mechanics of a few other things. For example, generating stone will allow us to generate large quantities of moss, because we can get a dispenser to bone meal some moss nearby to a platform of stone that we're generating using one of those stone generator modules. And that will allow us to create infinite moss, which, as we know from the episode all about mud, can be used for a variety of other things. We can turn some of the stone that we are generating into glazed terracotta by converting it into moss, converting the moss into dirt, converting the dirt into mud, converting the mud into clay, smelting the clay to terracotta, dyeing it, and then smelting it again. There are so many different useful transformations that can start with simply being able to produce stone renewably. And I don't know exactly where I'm going to set up a permanent cobblestone generator in this world quite yet, since a lot of the stuff that we've got here on the surface is pretty ramshackle right now. It's all just very bare bones. We've got a bunch of farms that don't really have any kind of pretty surround to them. We've got a sniffer farm over here that has felt kind of temporary for a while. Little automated bits and pieces here and there. The storage system is almost fully filled with all of the resources it needs in the item filters, but I still need to design the outside around it. I've just been away on a couple of trips, family have been visiting and that kind of thing, so I haven't been able to do a huge amount of building in this series so far, and that's why the episodes have been so focused on the technical aspects of Minecraft and short little tutorials like this that we can do instead of some of the larger projects that you might want to undertake. That is all going to change fairly soon, since family are on their way back home, and hopefully the heat wave in the UK is going to die down a little bit so that I can get in the office and get some more work done without sweating in my headphones. But that's where we're going to leave things for today, folks. Thank you all so much for watching this episode of the Minecraft Survival Guide. I hope you've enjoyed this, and a little peek at Superflat Survival as well, which is a fun challenge if you ever want to attempt it. Thank you so much for watching. My name has been Pixlriffs. Don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you folks soon. Take care. Bye for now.